Wheldon started 34th in this field. He has moved up 10 spots. You're on board with him. And one thing he was worried about going into this race was all that dirty air created by 34 cars.
But right now, the position he's in, he actually has a small advantage because everybody else is opening the air up in front of him. And he, oh, here we go.
Trouble, contact, and a huge crash.
Oh.
Up in turn number 2. Oh, multiple cars involved. Oh, my. It looks like Dan Wheldon may be involved in it.
And Eddie, you and I spoke about this morning on the drive-in. Just this amount of cars, the speed, just the chance for what they call the big one.
And what happens in conditions like that, when you're, even if you're 300 yards behind that, you cannot stop these cars. The only option you have is to try to avoid it, and it was impossible to avoid anything there. And
you saw willpower. His car involved as well. My. What a mess. That's Townsend Bell that was, I think his car was up on its side there, the 22.
15 there of Jay Howard, an additional entry. Excuse me, is that the 19 or 15? I can't see with the sun shining there. Some of the car is broken. They're showing that as Alex Lloyd, the 19.
It is the 15 of Jay Howard.
Yes.
One of the cars actually flew for about 200 yards in the air.
Red flag is out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on lap number 12. And from high above, you can see the carnage.
We talk about the car going through the air. Eddie, you know that these cars run so low down to the ground. We mentioned before, we saw them hitting the ground and sparking, that anything underneath the car, underneath the floor, underneath the tub, really just gets the air underneath the car itself, and up it will go.
We saw J.R. Hildebrand out of his car. There is Dario Franchitti. Somehow he managed to get through the carnage, but
Sure, guys, I mean, there's just nothing I can do.
willpower did not.
10-4. They are going to stop you at pit lane on the right-hand side. They want the drivers to stay in the cars.
What Franchitti was alluding to is there's nothing he can do avoiding the debris that's on the track.
Well, there is debris everywhere. You can see just how many cars are literally torn apart. And this was the one thing, and there is the 18 of James Jakes. Now, he had a crash early in practice on Friday. That is actually a KV Racing backup car that they put together for him. Now, I don't see much damage on there, but he's out of the cockpit. And look at this from high above. And this was the one thing we were fearing when we saw qualifying and the two championship contenders in the middle of the field, a big crash like this early in the race.
What happens in accidents like this is that a single mistake by anybody, which might be dirty air, could be anything, multiplies itself so fast that you start accumulating cars. There's no way that you can control what happens. Once you start spinning at those speeds, it's impossible. It's impossible to solve the problem.
And when we were watching that, Eddie, I'm not sure that anybody made a mistake, because I started to see some sparks. I was wondering if actually there was a suspension failure or a failure on a car, and the sparks I saw, and then all of a sudden people started to collide with each other. So not sure if it was a driver error.
There's Paul Tracy to the right there. We're going to sort this out. We know at least 8 cars are involved, maybe more. So stay with us. We'll go side by side, and it's only lap 13. And we've already had a huge crash here at Las Vegas. Under a red flag situation here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway after at least 12-car crash, and maybe as many as 15 had some other damage, or 3 other cars had other damage, bringing the total to 15. 19 cars right now are shown on the lead lap. They are still working. That is Dan Wheldon's machine, and the Hamaltro safety crew trying to do everything they can to make sure they get him out of the car safely. You see E.J. Vizo's car in the foreground there. He is out of his machine, and no word yet on his condition. There's Charlie Kimball's car at the 57 of Thomas Schechter. Both of those guys are out of their cars, and we'll have to wait for the official update from the medical center. We saw a number of drivers able to get out under their own power, and obviously right now all thoughts are right there. There is Pippa Mann as they are trying to get her out of her car.
She has had a tough time in a couple of races that she's done so far this year, and I talked to her just about a couple of weeks ago after the test, and she was very excited about coming back here and started this racing business a little bit crazy because she was riding ponies back in England, went to a birthday party at 13 that had go-karts there, and she said, my whole perspective in life changed.
This is her 4th race in the IndyCar series. She made her debut back at Indy for her first 500, finished 20th there. That was her best finish of the year. And we'll think good thoughts, as it's good to see her able to walk under her own power. And they don't need the gurney there as she climbs in to the ambulance. That's not a good sign.
Nope. The helicopter being started up is not a good sign.
But Marty, you're talking about the Hamaltrol safety crew, and these are crews that go on the road here with the drivers and the teams all throughout the races and even to different countries. And 2 trauma physicians are on track here, along with 3 paramedics, 9 firefighters, the EMTs that they have, and these are all people that are all our events. And as drivers, we know that when we have a situation like this, Eddie, that the best people are there to take care of us.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is slow motion from high above.
We talked about 3 or 4 wide.
Watch Sebastian Zaveja, right?
Yes.
A little contact right there.
Now he's trying to go from the low side to the high, from the high side down low to get going for the turn.
Oh.
And what ends up happening is that he got stuck back up there, turned around, tried to take another move going down, guys, and the backhand started to come around, and that started the chain reaction.
He was uncomfortable being on the top lane, and he tried, like you said, there's the car. Now there's 2 cars that are airborne. This puts Wheldon racing in perspective. This is the horrible accident that everybody has always hoped would never occur.
And as we said, 15 cars we now know of involved out of the 34 that started this race. We're under a red flag situation. We'll step aside. We'll stay side by side here at Las Vegas. We are under a red flag situation here at what was hoping to be a big celebration of the 2011 IZOD IndyCar Series at the World Championships after a 15-car pileup here on lap number 12. And we are waiting word on several drivers as they had to be assisted from their cars. We saw many of the 15 be able to get out on their own power. Thomas Schechter's car right there as it's on the hook. There is Will Power. His championship hopes for the 2nd year in a row are dashed in this lap 12 crash. We have confirmation that Schechter and Hildebrand have been discharged from the infield care center, and both declined to talk at this time. I think they wanted to get back to their teams. And we'll wait for more word. Let's give you an idea just how many have been involved in this crash. And of course, it starts with Will Power. His championship, as we mentioned, over. J.R. Hildebrand, he was in the Rookie of the Year competition. Jay Howard, Wade Cunningham, Townsend Bell, Thomas Schechter, Vitor Mira in his final ride with A.J. Foyt. He will not be coming back to that team next year. Charlie Kimball, Paul Tracy, E.J. Vizo, Dan Wheldon, and the quest for the $5 million is over. Alex Lloyd, Pippa Mann, Buddy Rice. So that is the list of the cars involved. And there's what's left of Buddy Rice's number 44, Dallara, as other cars on the hook heading back to the garage area. We'll be back after this message from our ABC stations. Under a red flag situation after 12 of 200 laps at the IZOD IndyCar World Championship presented by Sunoco. And you see the 77 of Dan Wheldon's car, what is left of it. Other cars of the 15 involved, as they are all on the hook being taken back into the garage area. One of the guys involved in the crash, Wade Cunningham. Jamie Little, you've caught up with him?
Yes, we're back here at the medical center, and there's a lot of long faces. And Wade, you're the first one that wanted to talk. From your perspective, what did you see?
It's just things happen in this kind of racing. It's so close, not much room for error. And I was near the front of what caused all this. So I'm not thrilled about it. But it's not like at this point, whoever's fault it was is kind of immaterial. There's a couple of people hurt in there, and that's the main thing. So, you know, just going to keep my fingers crossed for everyone that was in the accident, and hopefully no serious injuries.
And you're okay?
Yeah, I'm 100%.
Okay, and we do want to report that J.R. Hildebrand walked out. He did not want to talk, and once they brought Dan Wheldon into the medical center, J.R. went back in there, and a lot of drivers hanging out just to hear the outcome here. Let's go over to Rick DeBrule with Roger Penske.
Yeah, standing by with Roger. You know, and the championship seems almost so inconsequential as a result of what you've seen out here, but at least 2 of your cars are still in, and it looks like Will's okay.
Yeah, Will's okay is the main thing. It's unfortunate that, you know, early on in the race they got to be racing so close, and we have that kind of, but it's, I guess they call it a big one. You always worry about those on these 1.5 miles at the speed of as many cars, but fortunately, as far as I know, the drivers are okay. That's the most important thing. You know, we can go on to next year. Will had a great year, but it's just so unfortunate to have him knocked out with 3 crazy accidents, but it's what it is, and Briscoe's up there, Elio's up there, see if we can finish the day.
Looking at championships, and I realize it's hard to just start talking about championships, but, you know, do you look back at this year and think, okay, what could we do differently next year? So I mean, obviously not this accident, but those other incidents.
Well, I think it's just you got to play heads up in the pits. You know, we had a couple accidents in the pits with Will. I mean, he's obviously executing on the racetrack, and this is something that you're going to have happen in racing. It could be anyone. You saw it last night, you know, in NASCAR with Johnson. I mean, these are unfortunate. I think the drivers, you know this is an option that can happen, and you just hope it's not you. And to me, what we need to do is move forward here, and we got a great team, and these guys have worked hard all year, great sponsor with Verizon, and our team IZOD has done a great job with the series. So what we have to do is just stay forward here and just hope everybody's okay.
All right, once again, Roger Penske, 2 cars still in the race, but the championship battle for Penske is over.
And there is Will Power's car. And we're going to go on board with Will and give you another perspective of exactly what happened in this 15-car melee.
And Eddie, as we know, when you're driving along at these speeds, you're going the length of a football field in less than a second. So if something happens in front of you, you can never have enough reaction time.
It's impossible. You have no time to do anything. What happens maybe is just a small miscommunication between 2 drivers. Somebody spins and you have 20 cars that arrive on the scene at 220 miles an hour. It's physically impossible to do anything, and things like that tend to multiply themselves.
Well, Vince Welch is caught up with Alex Lloyd. Vince?
Alex, we just saw the replay. Where were you and all of that?
It looks like the first kind of group got together. I kind of checked up, and then looking at that, looks Will's on board. Looked like Will then went, didn't get it checked up, obviously, and went into the back of me and over the top of me. But yeah, it was just chaos. I mean, it just all of a sudden the whole track just gets littered. I mean, just cars everywhere, and as I said, then guys from behind. I mean, it's just mass chaos out there. Unfortunately, it's something I think a lot of us maybe thought might happen. I mean, we practiced with no more than 5 or 6 cars in a group, and now we've got 34. There was going to be some trouble. I mean, my biggest thoughts right now are just with Dan, Susie, and their family, and just hope everything goes okay from their end.
Good to see you're okay. That's Alex Lloyd. Marty?
And you've heard the references to Dan, and we have not had any word on his condition. As soon as we get word, we, of course, will pass it on. But you can see the concern of everyone as there is Alex's car. Paul Tracy, we saw him out of the car. Jamie, you've caught up with him?
Yes, and he has a long history of racing, even racing at this track. Where were you in the middle of that?
I mean, I saw 2 cars touch each other up in front of me, and then I tried to slow down and couldn't slow down. And then, you know, Dan's car, from what I saw from the video, came over my back wheel and over top of me, and it's just a horrendous accident. And you know, a lot of prayers right now for Dan, because it's going to be a long recovery.
What have you guys as drivers back here in the medical center been told about his condition as of now?
We haven't really been told anything. They're scrambling in there right now. There's 20 doctors in there, and we basically have been shuffled out. But, you know, there's a lot of frustration from the drivers. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of young drivers that don't even know how to react. So it's a bad situation.
Thank you for your time. Paul Tracy is okay, Marty.
One of the great things about the IndyCar series, they travel a set of doctors and medical officials that are specialists in a number of areas, and they are at every race. That's the group of doctors that you heard Paul Tracy refer to that are working on Dan Wheldon and the others. And as we get more information, we'll pass it along. Stay with us. Back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, after 12 laps, we have a red flag situation in the final race of the 2011 IZOD IndyCar Series. and 15 cars involved. Now the tarp over Dan Wheldon's car, they're trying to keep all the pieces and everything together there, and as they take it back to the garage area, and other cars, they've been able to just get on the hook, but obviously they needed a tow back for this one as Dan's car flew into the catch fence. There is Danica Patrick's car. She is one of the 19 that escaped this crash. Let's go back and show you her onboard view of what happened.
And as a driver, when this happens in front of you, Eddie, as you know, we talked about it a moment ago, it's just reactionary time, and you hope that there's a clear path for you to go through. Now, as we see the car starting to touch and go airborne, as a driver, you're looking for a clean hole, but sometimes when you get to that clean hole, it is then filled with other cars or debris. But for Danica Patrick, she escaped this today, and she was very lucky.
Very lucky. But what happens in those circumstances is that at every split second, probably hundreds of thousands of seconds, are just enough to get you through that hole. So you're not looking at the car in front of you. You're probably 300 yards farther down the road, so that you can make it's not even a calculation, it's a reflex. It's like somebody throwing a ball at you, and you just see it at the last second and you move out of the way.
If you are just tuning in, that is Will Powers, Dallara, and there is Will leaving the medical center, and of course that means his championship hopes for the second year in a row are dashed. This one through no fault of his own, really, as the crash happened in front of him, and as many of these cars, they got swept up. And there's Dario Franchitti talking over with Tim Cindric, because Dario knows that he has clinched his third straight championship and fourth overall. Rick?
Dario, let's start off by talking about the accident. I mean, obviously, this was a concern of a lot of people, not just the fact that something could happen, but if it happened so fast. What was your view of everything?
My view was the back wing of Scott's target car, really. I was sitting behind Scott. I could see it was, within 5 laps, people were starting to do crazy stuff. And that early in the race, I don't want no part of it full stop, but I wanted no part of it there. I love hard racing, but that to me is not really what it's about. I said before we tested here, having driven the stock car here, this is not a suitable track, and we've seen it today. It's just you can't get away from anybody. There's no way to differentiate yourself, either with car or driver. You're just stuck there, and people get frustrated and go 4 wide, and you saw what happened. One small mistake from somebody, and there's a massive thing. So it's I hope everybody's okay. I don't know. I saw a couple of cars airborne in front of me, but at that point my focus was very much on trying not to hit Scott, and it's just, as I say, right now all I care about is that everybody is okay.
A lot of debris on the track. Obviously, you had to go through a bunch of that debris. How is your car?
The car's fine. The guys, the IndyCar series, let us change the tires, so we've got 4 new Firestones on there. That's always our biggest worry in these situations, and so I'll be interested to see what they say now, what we're going to do. We've obviously lost a lot of cars. So we'll see what happens.
All right, once again, Dario able to get through safely, and now worried about everybody else.
Let's go on board and show you exactly what Dario is talking about.
And all the action starts up front, Marty. As you know, we just mentioned it's very difficult to try and avoid it. And as Dario was mentioning, he's just looking forward, trying not to hit the car that's in front of him or subsequent cars that are there. And luckily for him, he got through before everything started to go just upside down.
But it's also where you position yourself on the track. He was saying, he just said in his interview, he hated being around cars that he was uncomfortable with. Everybody was doing something crazy. So as you could see, he was already on the bottom of the track. If you're on the top of the track, that's where everything goes naturally. So you have more room to avoid things. And I think that was luck, but also a sign of experience. Stay down low.
All right, just a moment ago, the helicopter here on site lifted off. We do not know who is inside that helicopter at this moment, so we'll wait for word from IndyCar officials. But think good thoughts, folks. We're going to step aside here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, we continue our red flag situation after a 15-car crash. And what IndyCar officials have decided, they've allowed the 19 cars that are still running to go back to their pit stalls. They will replace tires, and any other further changes, we will let you know exactly how that continues to unfold. Now, there is Ryan Briscoe. He made it through the carnage, and he is with Rick.
Yeah, let's talk. You had the advantage of being ahead of the accident, so you didn't see it happen, but you came back around and saw what was on the track. What was your first thought when you came by?
Well, honestly, you know, I was looking for power, you know, and just feel really terrible that that he's out. And I know it's not the way Frank Kitty wanted to win the championship, but really heartbreaking for Team Penske and all of us that have worked so hard. But I tell you, I've never seen anything like it. The debris we all had to drive through the lap later. It looked like a war scene from Terminator or something. I mean, it was just there were just pieces of metal and car on fire in the middle of the track with no car attached to it and just debris everywhere. So it was scary, and you know, the first thought's hoping that nobody's hurt, because I mean, there's just stuff everywhere. I mean, crazy.
Now, you'd said a little bit earlier in the race you had actually had contact with somebody.
Yeah, Tagliani got into my back tire, and I think we almost caused the big one a few laps before. You know, I think we can just run so close together at the moment on this circuit. But we're doing 220 plus mile an hour, and it doesn't take much for something bad to happen. And you know, I was lucky that nothing bad happened. It's going up the back straight, and next thing I felt the car just turned sideways when tags got into me. But thankfully we got away with that one. But I guess the guys a bit further back didn't.
Once again, Ryan Briscoe sitting aside, waiting for the race to restart.
Well, and everybody who thinks that racing has become oh so safe, I think you just found out it has its moments, and it has some very scary moments. We have no further information as of this point. IndyCar officials are working to get updated information to us. As soon as they do, we will pass it along. We will do no speculation whatsoever on the condition of any of the drivers until we get official word or can talk to them. There's Randy Bernard.
Our thoughts and prayers are with his family today. IndyCar, its drivers and team owners, has decided to end the race. In honor of Dan Wheldon, the drivers have decided to do a 5-lap salute in his honor. It will take place in approximately 10 minutes. Thank you.
There will be no one-on-one interviews or questions. Thank you.
Did he confirm he's... All right, we came in late on that, and folks, this is the hardest part of our job, and the last time I had to do this was 2006 with Paul Dana, but we have lost Dan Wheldon today here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. A tragic accident on lap number 13, and Dan Wheldon killed today here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. There'll be a 5-lap salute. Stay with us, please.